What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Impact Lounge. You are in the number one place to be for the Impact Wrestling fan. This is the Cool Factor Podcast. I'm your host, TW. And of course, we got the man with the plan, Mr. BQ. Please say what's up to the people.
What's up, everybody? I've made my return. My return, like I've been gone for years on vacation. And I know we didn't do a show for a couple weeks. And then I actually didn't tell you this earlier, but when I was messing with StreamYard, I accidentally set the stream for last night, which we weren't there. And I kind of woke
just
up.
Go live with a black screen? Like,
I don't know what I would imagine, something like that. And I woke up and I saw comments like, what's going on? I was like, oh my God. I had like, no idea.
Have you been kidnapped? Are you okay? Blink twice.
Dude, I was so embarrassed. Oh my gosh. But you know, thanks for joining us this week, folks. We're really happy to be doing this again. Obviously, we had to take a little bit of time off while I was out of the area. Vacation was good to me, and I didn't tell you this, TW. So I won. I entered a contest for Charger tickets.
Nice.
They were playing the Rams at a SoFi Stadium. I entered a contest on Instagram. I said, "Fuck it, I knew I was gonna be in California. I won the contest, so
Lit.
So the tickets, me and my old lady go. I mean, it's like it's the nosebleeds, which was fine. Free tickets. One of my Air Force buddies I have not seen this dude in 20 something years. He knows I'm at the game. He's at the game. He sends me a text. He goes, "Yo, where are you sitting at?" And I'm like, "Oh, we're at 500 something." And he goes, "Come take my seats at halftime because I'm moving up because I know the security guard." He sends me his tickets. They're the freaking fourth row.
Yo, that's wild. That's crazy.
These seats in SoFi, they're all cushy. Like I mean, insane, dude. So it was kind of one of the highlights of my vacay. You know, just being my old lady was more impressed with it than I was. Like she just thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
Well, if she was more impressed than you are, that's a win for you, baby. That's a win for you. That's a flex. You're like, yeah, baby. See how I did that? You see these seats I got us?
Yeah,
I did that. I did. You
What's
see my
up?
hookup? Okay,
Yeah.
stick with me.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Oh man, so I can't wait to experience some of those great seats in SoFi myself. I got my tickets for WrestleMania, which means I will not be doing anything that costs money between now and March when I finish paying them off. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm excited, man. I love LA. I've only been to LA a few times. People that are like from LA always tell me, dog, it's overrated. You know, like LA's not all that. Okay, damn all that. Damn all of that. Okay. As a visitor, as somebody who's only in LA for 2 to 3 days at a time, I love it. I love it. I love it. Whenever I get a chance to go to LA, I love the you know what I mean? The weather is incredible. When you look off like in the backdrop, there's like mountains. It looks like a movie set, dog. It looks like a movie set. Right. I do have to say In-N-Out Burger is a little overrated. But
yeah.
I digress. The point is, I'm looking forward, in April to heading out to LA with my wife for a couple of days. It's gonna be nice. We're gonna, enjoy LA during the daytime. Then, we're gonna go our separate ways. I'll meet up with my wrestling friends, and we're gonna WrestleMania, hard body karate. So
I had no clue it was at SoFi. Mania is at SoFi.
Yeah, it's in Inglewood, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It took us a good hour to park, dude. I'm just letting you know that ahead of time. It is one of the worst.
Well, I will not be renting
plans.
a car. I have no intention on renting a car. So the last time I went to WrestleMania was 2017. It was in Orlando. They got a stadium down there. I think it's the old Citrus Bowl. It's like renovated. It's mad nice. They do college bowl games every year. But the parking situation there is like out of the Stone Ages, dog. Like it's crazy. So in 2017, it took me literally 3 hours to get out of that parking lot after the show. Like crazy. I will never do that again. So wherever, if me and my wife get a hotel, maybe she can rent the car and drop me off, or I'll take an Uber, whatever it is, but I ain't doing it. I ain't driving.
That's what you want to do. The funniest thing, and we're going to get to Impact here. We're letting the audience bubble here a little bit since we're live streaming. The funniest thing is right outside the stadium, some of the people who live there, these teenagers are out there with signs like parking $50. And I'm like, man, they want people to park at their house. So I mean, they have like long driveways that go out along the side of the house in California, and some of them,
Oh.
so they can fit like 4 cars there.
Yeah.
And a lot of the Mexican communities live in houses like that because they have a lot of people
Right.
crammed into a home.
Plus,
So
y'all be parking on the lawn.
yeah. So I mean, they're
Y'all be
parking
like-
anywhere on their property, and I was like, man, $50. You know what I mean? What's parking? I go on parking in SoFi, $80 to park.
Oh my God.
Woo.
$80. Yo, clip that off and circulate it, dog. $80. That's a public service announcement. $80 to park? Oh my God.
Yeah, that was wild, man.
$80 to park, bro. Yo.
And as a Cali-
$80 to park.
And as a Cali guy, I get in that mode too, where I'm like, oh, it's a little overrated. It's not that I won't say it's overrated, but I've lived in Illinois, Florida, California, different parts of California, up in Sacramento. I've with the military for schools, like gone to different cities. Like I'm impressed with everywhere, dude. Like
Right.
I'm just as happy living in Illinois as I was in California. Like I'm someone I just see the beauty in everywhere I go. So
Yeah.
I don't know, man, but
No, that's dope, man. I feel you. I mean, like, I've lived in Connecticut. And so, so California is like, wow.
yeah, no, I got you.
But one thing we have, Sonia, what's up, Sonia? How we doing? One thing we have buried the lead on here, BQ, is you got a new mic. Look at that. You got a new microphone. I see you
Beautiful,
shining
man.
over there. Okay.
Yeah.
That Air Force money kicked in.
Finally, I broke down and got me something nice. You know what I mean? I actually got this for California because I was like, remember I told you, I'm gonna try to podcast out there, dude, but it was not doable, man.
Yeah.
Vacation to go see your family and then you got your kids with you. That's not vacation, man. It's impossible. So
I got
to
trip,
deliver.
but it's not a vacation. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I want to get something a little nicer.
I actually did. Perfect example of what you're talking about. Like, me and my family have been all over the place this summer, which is great. You know what I mean? You got to maximize, especially, coming off the past 2 years where, I don't know how you did it, but, we did the quarantine hard. You know what I mean? Like we were extra locked down, you know what I mean? Staying away from everybody. So, for last year and definitely this year, we're like, yo, we're getting out. We are getting out. So, we went to like Disney in April, like we went to Myrtle Beach, it's just like a bunch of stuff. And then, like you said, like that's like it's a trip, right? But you're still parenting, you know what I mean? You're still parenting,
right.
And seeing family is great and wonderful. It's totally different. I went to Miami for a weekend for one of my buddies to celebrate his birthday, and that's a vacation. You know what I mean? Like that's a vacation. Like we just chilling, little, bars and clubs and stuff, and hanging out on the beach. My wife was so mad at me because my wife loves the beach, and I'm not like a beach guy. Like that's the thing. I'm not like a beach guy, but to be honest, one of the most fun things we did in Miami was we hit the liquor store and we got, a bottle of tequila, a couple of juices to mix, and we just sat there and made our own drinks on the beach. And you know what I mean? Like, and just sitting there, just drinking and chilling, smoking cigars. I was like, yo, this is it. Plus it's Miami. So, you know what I mean? You know what the beach is like in Miami, you know what I mean? So, I mean, it was just, oh my God. But yes, that's a vacation. That is a vacation. So, yeah.
Woo! Yeah, we did one beach trip in Cali. It was nice. My brother put me to shame because I work out, but I could also lose 20. Like my brother is like cut, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Like he ain't had a piece of bread in like 3 years.
Yeah, man. But yeah, let's get into this. I know we BS for a little bit.
Let's do it.
We'll let this audience bubble here a little bit. This is a live stream for the lounge. We're not going to be interviewing. We're not going to be reviewing the show, folks. At this stage in the week, doing a show on Wednesday, we're not going to talk about past Thursday. We're going to talk a little bit about the Bound for Glory main event, but we're not going to review the show. But we got some good topics here. But TW, I want you to plug real quick the Twitter space that we tried out this past week on Thursday night after Impact, and kind of what the plans are with that going forward.
Hell yeah. So for those of you guys out there on Twitter, what's up to Donald Hill? What's up, brother? How we doing? Thank you for always supporting. So we're doing Twitter Spaces now, man. Twitter Spaces is fun, and we really want you guys to come join us on the Twitter Spaces. If you follow BQ, if you follow me at TW Talking About, if you follow my podcast page at Talking About Pod, I'm going to be doing those from at Talking About Pod. And the cool thing about the Spaces, you guys listen to us talk here on the podcast and on the live streams. Twitter Spaces is your chance to talk back with us. Okay, so if you guys think we have horrible takes on Scott D'Amore and the knockouts and this and that and all this other stuff, the Twitter Spaces is the time and the place for you guys to come and holler back at us. You know what I mean? So get at us on the Twitter Spaces. We're doing those. When did we start? We're doing those Thursdays after Impact. We're going up live after Impact is up there.
After Impact. So obviously I'm always saying I don't watch Impact live. So I'm going to personally have no idea what goes on the episodes, but you know, I still weigh in. I was told last week that when I was speaking, I was super noisy. I was walking around the house.
Okay.
So now that I know that, I will make sure that I'm easier to listen to and it's quiet and it's clear.
We've only done it once, so we're still getting a feel for, you know, the flow of it. But the basic idea here is we're going up, you know, Impact goes off at 10. So we're going to go up around 10:05. And we're gonna, you know, we're gonna just chat for like an hour or so. You know what I mean? We're not gonna keep you guys all night. We're gonna react to the Impact show. We're gonna react to any news of the week. You know, we're gonna let people talk, let people vibe. We're gonna maintain an environment where everybody feels, you know, comfortable, respected. If you say something crazy, we're gonna react to it. Don't get me wrong. Like if you say something crazy, you know, we're gonna talk back at you, but we're not gonna call people stupid and, you know, unless you deserve it. But we're not gonna, you know what I mean? The point is we want to create an environment where everybody feels comfortable coming in, chatting about the show, having fun. And that's really that, man. Like, you know, I've been actually working on trying to bring some of the bigger Impact podcasts together and let's do, you know, kind of something really fun for the Impact wrestling community. So far, I don't know if it's going to happen or not, you know what I mean? But we'll see. But whether that happens or not, you still going to have us, you know what I mean? So mark it down. Thursdays after Impact is over, hop on to the Twitter space and we're just gonna chat about the show. It's gonna be a regular thing. We're gonna do it every week, and yeah, man. So get at us on Twitter at Talking About Pod and at BQ, and we'll post the link for the spaces.
Yeah, so that's where we're gonna put the links. And if you're not familiar with spaces, you can either get in and just listen, or you can actually be a contributor and you can talk. So you know, TW host it, you know, he'll say, hey, you know, so it's almost like you're calling into a radio station, like, hey, you know, Johnny Superstar, what's good with you? You know, bring you in. And what we did is we stuck with one topic. We talked about Eddie Edwards versus Josh Alexander, and we're going to keep it to like an hour. We're pretty, we don't want to go past that. So if we have to cut people off or not everyone gets a chance to speak, that's just, you know, going to be the way that it is.
But we're going to try to get as many people involved as possible. You know what I mean? Again, you guys listen to us on the podcast. Twitter Spaces is your chance to talk to us. You know what I mean? Your chance to talk to us. We get to talk to you. We get to interact. You talk to us. We talk back. And it's just, I think it's more fun that way. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. You know me, I'm long-winded. I could talk for an hour myself, okay? But the whole point of the Twitter Spaces is so that you guys get a chance to talk back. So be there with bells on and come with some hot takes. And let's chat about Impact.
So we got a couple comments here real quick, and then we're going to get into you know, our topics. I'm leaving this on a screen right now. You watched AEW. I didn't watch AEW. I know you told me to stay off social media, but the Motor City Machine Guns were announced for All Out.
Yeah. So so they announced the Motor City Machine Guns. Again, I'm not gonna totally spoil it for you. Well, we're in the Impact space, so we kind of got to talk about it. So there's gonna be I think a 4-way match. It's gonna be Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt and the Motor City Machine Guns against FTR and whoever their partners are going to be. So, and when they announced Motor City Machine Guns, they got a big pop. They got a big pop. And I was like, man, I tweeted, I said, oh, you hear that pop Motor City Machine Guns got? I thought nobody watches Impact. You know, I always get that. Every time you see an Impact name pop up in, you know, WWE or AEW, they always get a lot of pop. You know what I mean? But nobody watches Impact. Nobody cares. Nobody pays attention to Impact. You know, I mean, come on, man. So it's really dope, man. It's really dope seeing these guys get some shine. That's going to be really good for All Out. And I'm going to stop talking about All Out right there because I don't want to, you know, dive any more into anything else that may or may not have happened on AEW tonight. By the way, guys, if you guys are in this chat, BQ has not watched AEW yet, so don't drop any AEW spoilers on him in the chat. All right.
And we'll just address a couple questions here. If Impact is shopping around for channels, which would be the ideal channel for them? I did a whole podcast on the potential of them getting a new deal today for television. I don't know what it is, man. You know, years ago, people, when they were like throwing channels around, I know one of the ones the fans wanted was True TV. You know, I don't know why exactly, but something like that.
Thing. Impact needs to stop. Like Impact going to True TV, that would be such an Impact move. That would be such an Impact move. Come with us to the Forensic Case Files channel. Like, no, motherfucker. You need to go somewhere where people watch for variety style entertainment. You know what I mean? Like a Spike TV or a TNT or a TBS. Again, I'm not saying that it's easy to get on those networks, but if you get a spot on freaking Destination America again, like, yeah, they might have great distribution, but nobody is watching Destination America looking for a wrestling show. Okay. Like, you need to be somewhere where eyeballs are. To be honest, YouTube is a great outlet. Okay. You don't get more distribution than YouTube. Everybody got YouTube. If you got internet, you got YouTube on your phone, you got YouTube on your computer, your laptop, your iPad, your tablet, your Samsung, everything. YouTube is everywhere. You can't get more distribution than YouTube. Y'all gonna rile me up. Y'all gonna get me started here. The problem is not the net. Okay, look, yes. If you get on ABC, okay, or ESPN or some network like that, that's on every basic cable package and promotes everything to where millions of eyeballs just by chance are going to see your product. Yes, that'll make a difference. But I said it before and I'll say it again. If Monday Night Raw was on Access TV, they would still do 2 million viewers. Okay. I did a hit on the Last Call radio show, which you guys can hear tomorrow. And one of the first questions that the host asked me was, you know, what should Impact do with now that they're not re-signing the Good Brothers? You know, should they invest more in this person or that person? I said, if I was Impact, I'd spend that money on a digital strategist, on somebody to figure out how to raise my profile in the digital space so that I can connect with younger fans, so that I can get out there and get popping and popular in the spaces where young fans are. That's what Impact needs to do. Okay, that's what they need to do, because again, like, you got to make yourself hot, right? It's a BQ. You rap, right? You did music. So you know this, right? Like, yeah, it'd be great if Columbia Records just called you up and said, yo, we want to make you hot. But the truth is, Columbia Records and every record company, they want you to get hot. They want you to make your own fans, and then they want to put their money behind you, right, and see what you can do even more now that they've invested in you. So it's the same in today's thing landscape, with Impact Wrestling. It's the same thing with every product. You got to get your fan base hot, and then somebody will come invest in you and say, we want to put money behind you. When Spike TV invested in Impact Wrestling and put them on their network and, agreed to, pay for half of the show or whatever it was, it's because Impact was in a position that AEW was in now, right? They were the hot new thing. But right now, can Impact say that? No, right? Not even close. So Impact Wrestling, the thing they need to focus on is making themselves hot. Okay, like you could be on, you're not going to get on a decent channel, on a channel with decent coverage, until you make yourself hot. You might get on a Destination America, or you might get on, a Pop TV or something like that, some network that's looking for something to boost them up. But you got to bring something to the table, right? So BQ, you talked about, the possibility of Impact getting on a bigger network. Well, one of the things Impact's got to ask is, what do we bring to the table, right? What does Impact bring to the table right now?
And you're right what you said. In today's like music landscape, that's a great example. There's not, there's a lot more independent artists out right now, but the bigger labels look for people who already have established fan bases. They don't look for that like hidden gem anymore. That doesn't exist. That doesn't happen. The podcast I dropped earlier today, I actually kind of gave the flip side argument that they do need a better network. And I know that I know we have always been saying, oh, well, they got YouTube, they got this and this. But I learned, and the example I kind of gave on the podcast was I was on a WNBA post, and someone saying, it was almost like I'm on an Impact thread. Someone's like, I can't watch the games. I can't find the games. And I responded, said, I've watched every game this year that I want to in one way or another. The thing is, WNBA games, they stream on they do sometimes on Twitter every blue moon. They stream on Facebook. They stream on Prime Video. I think they did Peacock a couple of games. Obviously on TV, they got their own network. Their own app. There's something else I brought up earlier. I don't remember what it was. And in a nutshell, you say, wow, there's all these ways to watch. But the person responded to me and said, but the thing is, you're a fan who already watches it, really wants to watch it. You're in the know of what's going on. So all these places to find it. Like for someone who just kind of casually was like, if it's on TV, I'll watch it. Like they need it on a real network. I mean, they need a better TV deal. I mean, obviously ESPN's a great deal, but so I'm not saying a better network, but a better television deal that, that they have more games, things of that nature. So I kind of pulled back on the thing where I was like, well, YouTube is great. There's all these ways to watch it, because if it's not convenient for the person who's not a hardcore viewer, they're not going to check in, or it's going to be difficult for them. You have to make it as easy as possible. A better network or a better TV deal does that. But what you talked about, what you bring to the table, to kind of answer to what you're saying, I was saying also in the pod, and I've said it before on our show, that because they're a television product, by nature, they're going to get compared to NXT, Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, Rampage.
Right.
If you just look at the shows, it looks so low budget in comparison.
Right.
They look like a YouTube show on Access TV. And maybe that's by design. Like, we're on Access TV. We don't have to do all these bells and whistles. Like, it's pointless. We're on Access TV. So they look more like an MLW or an NWA. But the example I brought was like, dress for the job that you want. So I think that's the first thing a bigger network would look at. They look at this show and it looks like a YouTube show. Why do I want this on my network? You know what I mean? So that's why I said dress for the job you want. If you look like you're at least trying to, they're never going to look like NXT and all that. Obviously not. But if you look like you're making the attempt to put on a real professional looking sounding product, instead of this, mixed down to a mono file where we can't hear the fans and things like that. I don't know how sexy that is to another network.
Yeah, no, bro, you preaching to the choir, bro. You preaching to the choir. You dead right about that. I think that just like you said, like if you, what are you selling? You know what I mean? Like what are you selling? What are you selling to the people? What reason would they have to want to come and be a part of your product? But here's another thing too, though. You made the comparison to WNBA. Well, here's the thing about WNBA, right? Even if you're a casual, if you are willing to just dive into WNBA Twitter, right? You'll see there is a vibrant community of people talking about the product, sharing highlights of the product. Like there's WNBA has stars, bro. Like WNBA has stars. Like if you are willing, even if you're a casual, put on a damn Las Vegas Aces game. Are you kidding me? Are you
Yeah, they're
kidding me?
fire.
Like, yo, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, you want like the WNBA has a great product right now. They have a great product right now. You got established stars like Sue Bird and young up and comers like Brianna Stewart. You got Asia Wilson, who's a young goat and hasn't gotten crowned yet. Like you, dog. WNBA has a good product, and it doesn't take long to realize that once you dive in. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't take long to realize that's another thing that makes them different from Impact, right? Once you start diving into like wrestling Twitter, right? It's all like, you know, toxic and I like AEW. Nobody likes this and you know what I mean? Like you have to, it takes effort to cultivate that type of environment. Again, if that person who you're talking to who's interested in seeing more WNBA games, if you point them to WNBA Twitter, I'm telling you, bro, come talk to them 2 days later, and they'll tell you more about, you know what I mean, like the players they discovered, the people they follow who are tweeting about the games and the product and the teams. Like Impact, they need to cultivate that same type of space. Again, it's all cyclical. It's all cyclical. If people on Twitter are stumbling into Impact Wrestling Twitter and they're like, oh, this is a lot of fun. You know, I like the way this person talks about Impact. I like the way, you know, these people tweet about Impact. I like the way that the Impact Twitter account, you know, the things they tweet, the way they interact. You know, you understand what I'm saying? Like, so my point is that Impact's biggest enemy is Impact. And that's my position. Like I like the product. I think Impact does a great job with a lot of stuff. It's one of my favorite wrestling shows to watch each and every week consistently. But when it comes to us as fans wanting to see the product grow, like that finger has to point right back at Impact. You can't point it at you know, don't point it at Twitter, don't point it at Access TV, point it at Impact and Anthem, because they need to spend the money to hire the right people to raise their profile. And that's everything starts from there. Everything starts from there.
Hell yes. I'm going to talk to you offline about someone I was interviewing with Impact recently and kind of what I was told about the pay they were offered and stuff. So I'm not going to, that's not professional to talk about stuff on the show.
That's private.
But I do. So I want to get in the first topic here that I had on my brain, and it's a little outdated because I've been, you know, we obviously haven't been streaming for you guys, but people wanted to hear an opinion on it. And it's actually Madison Rain and Aew. This is old news at this point. We know she's over there. She's the coach. She has wrestled 2 matches so far. Have you seen both of these matches? Layla Gray, hottest woman in pro wrestling, and
I think
Jade
I actually
Cargill.
have seen both of those. Yeah, I think I actually have seen both of those matches.
So,
and they illustrate exactly what my point is. But go right ahead.
So, what's really weird, and it's actually funny, they're, you know, Motor City Machine Guns are going to be on the show and everything. It almost told me this is why we don't bring Impact people on the show, because Madison Rain comes out, and this is in Columbus, Ohio. She's from there. The crowd knows her. This is when she made her like initial debut. She comes out on commentary on like Dark or something like that. And clearly they brought her in at this time. Hey, we're going to be in Columbus. Like people are going to know her, whatever. But they announced her. And we always talk about presentation of someone, and we want presentation to be good. You know what I mean? You want to make someone seem like a big deal. But they announced her like they had signed Bryan Danielson. And there was a reaction like, yay, you know, I'm trying to think of a similar signing. I don't know. There was a yay. Hey, we know her. She came out. But it was almost, it's crickets in comparison to the way that they presented her. Like they were announcing an absolute superstar to come out. And And then she cuts a babyface promo, dude. And I have never liked her as a babyface. I don't think she sounds even a little bit good. As a heel, she's masterful. As a babyface, it just, I'm not gonna say it's not believable. It is believable, but it's just, it doesn't work, man. It's never worked for her, in my opinion. She's cutting this big babyface promo, and I mean, she's doing it like trying to get a huge reaction from the crowd, and the reaction is not there. And I think people I'm glad she's over there. Like, she deserves to be on that kind of platform at this point. I know she's not going to wrestle a whole lot, but she deserves to be over there. So I'm happy for her in that sense. But the way they've presented her so far when she's on TV, like, she's a real big deal. And she's never been on a huge platform. You know what I mean? And I don't think she's one of those people that, you know, the AEW marks like sign Madison Rain, you know? So, but they treated her like, you know, Tony Storm was coming in or something like that. And so on social media, a lot of people were like, "Oh, you know, there was dead," and it wasn't dead, but in relation to the way that they presented her and they announced her, it was dead. And then she has her first match. Oh no! Then she announces she's gonna wrestle or something. I don't remember what. Oh, she goes, "I'm not only to be here as a coach, but as a competitor," and that one was kind of like, all right, yay, you know, like, we weren't asking for it, but okay, cool. and someone, you know, someone said here, I'm gonna put it on the screen, you know, they did Madison no favors. Again, you want to present someone like they're a big deal, absolutely, but I think they went a little too above and beyond, and I think it hurt her. She had a match with Layla Gray, hottest woman in pro wrestling, and it wasn't good. Layla Gray's, you know, one of the ones I said weeks ago, like, yo, Impact got to get her, you know. To me, she has to work on in the ring a little bit, but she's a star in my opinion, future star. I'm sorry about my cat. There's always a cat in here making noise. But she had a match with Layla Gray, dude. It was not good. And the weird thing is, Madison, like, was she blonde at the end of Impact?
I don't remember. I think so. Yes. Now that you mentioned it, I think so.
Okay, I don't know. So. I don't know if it's just because it's the difference in quality when you're watching AEW, but her hair just, it was just like really blonde, and she looked like she put on a lot of weight in her face. And when the first graphic came out saying Madison Rain in action, I thought it was a fan made graphic. I was like, who's that? It didn't even look like her. And oh man. And I don't know, like, she comes out there and she doesn't look the same. Something is off. There's something about her physically. She does not look like the person we've been seeing on Impact TV. Something's freaking off. But she had the match. It was not good. And then it leads her to a title match with Jade Cargill. This is also not good. I was very disappointed that they called her Move the Cross Rayne. I was positive Josh Matthews made that up on the spot and then just kept running with it. Someone said bring in a couple of Jeff Jarrett comments. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. And sure enough, that was her name. And I'm like, that name doesn't even make sense. Mm-hmm. But anyway, yeah, her match with Jade wasn't good. Jim Cornette was like, does the coach need a coach? You know? So I don't know, man. Good for her that she's over there. For me as an Impact fan, it was like really awkward watching her on TV. Yeah, but it was even a little awkward me watching Deonna Purrazzo on TV. Like I don't know. Not to this extent though. There's something really awkward about watching her that you're almost like, oh my god, get her off the screen. But I don't know.
All right,
Madison's twin. Someone says.
I'm a disclaimer. The little disclaimer here. I'm a big fan of Madison Rain. I think Madison Rain should have been in the Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame years ago. She's had an excellent career. She's very accomplished. You know, yada yada yada. Okay. Madison Rain's not that good. Okay, I don't know what, like, I don't know who Madison Rain hustled to get hired as a coach. And honestly, you know, one of the things I've been talking about a lot with AEW needs leadership. Okay, AEW has all the money in the world. AEW needs a good leader. AEW needs a leader, someone who either A, knows what they're doing, or B, will hire somebody to make decisions that knows what they're doing. Madison Rain's been wrestling since like 2008. All you got to do is pull up her matches. What about Madison Rain matches says coach? What?
Right.
What have we seen from Madison Rain that says technician? You know, does she have a wrestling school that I don't know about? She might. That's a common hustle that a lot of wrestlers do. I'm on TV, pay me to teach you how to wrestle. A lot of wrestlers have wrestling schools, but you've seen Madison Rain wrestle. Madison Rain's not a technician. Like, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? And I don't blame Madison Rain, okay? If you want to hire me to be your heart surgeon, I'll take your money, okay? But, like, results may vary, all right? Like, I don't... If somebody is going to pay you to... Oh, my God. Yo, look. You said it yourself. Jim Cornette said, does the coach need a coach? Okay? Listen.
Yeah.
Layla Gray and Jade Cargill are both people who need to work with other good people, okay? And if you're somebody who's a quality enough wrestler that you can be a coach, then you should be able to pull a good match out of those talents, right? Especially a talent like Jade Cargill who works on TV every week, okay? Jade still needs work, but she's working on TV every week. She can have a good match if you're a good dance partner. And again, Layla Gray, she needs work, but if you're good enough to be a coach, you should be able to get a good match out of her. That was embarrassing for AEW. It was embarrassing for Madison Rain, and it was embarrassing for Impact Wrestling. No, not really. Kind of for Impact Wrestling. But like, I mean, again, I'm not trying to say Madison Rain is bad, but she's not good. You know what I mean? Like, yo, dog, in WWE, you want to know something that almost every female wrestler in WWE has in common? They all have their best match with Sasha Banks. Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch. They all have their best matches with Sasha Banks because Sasha Banks is a good wrestler. Okay? A good wrestler knows how to work with other people who do what they do well. They know how to get their stuff in. They know how to make the other person look good while getting their stuff in. And that's what wrestling is, right? It's a coordinated performance, right? Where you know how to make everybody look good. A good wrestling match, everybody comes out looking good at the end. Everybody comes out looking tougher and stronger at the end. But I mean, listen, Madison Rain had 2 matches and nobody came out looking good. Like,
right.
Again, like the fact that she's someone who you would hire as a coach says you don't know what you're looking for in a coach. And I'm a fan of the New York Jets. So as far as teams that don't know how to hire a coach, okay, I got all the experience in the world on that, okay? And you know what? It's not the fault of the bad coach for being a bad coach. It's the fault of the team that hired the bad coach. You feel me? Mm-hmm. You feel me? So Madison Rain going out there, taking money from AEW. Listen, she's been wrestling in Impact for so many years. She has earned the opportunity. She deserves to go out there and wrestle in front of 5, 8, 10,000 people, however many people are at the AEW shows. Okay, but if you don't know that Madison Rain is not a good enough wrestler to be leading people who don't know how to wrestle, that's on you. That's on you. So Madison Rain as a coach in AEW, not sure where that's going, but she should get better before she goes out there and wrestles again. That's all I'll say. Maybe she can coach herself up. Okay,
but good for her. But good for her for being over there. I think she'd be better off doing some kind of tag team work initially they just, as I said, they presented her like, they, when Tony Storm showed up, you know what I mean? Or Ruby Soho, like they really was like, wow, and it just didn't hit, man. The matches were not good. And it's like, all right, she was doing the queen gimmick, and it's just, I don't think anyone gets it, man. So I don't know. But kind of speaking of Madison, so something I had been saying for, you said we got to open our own promotion. We got ideas, and what can you do? Production and music. And also who can do production and music? Yeah. The hell's that? So I had said this before. I was several times. I was like, it feels like Tennille Dashwood's the next one to go, because there's usually a shelf life for some people. There's some people who leave in 6 months, and then there's some who, they sign a long-term deal, but they don't typically seem to re-sign. And I was like, yo, Tennille feels like she's just the next one gone. And they took her off the website. I was a fan of the Influence. I thought they were funny. There's some people who didn't find them funny, or I found Tennille very funny. But I thought the dynamic they had with Caleb and everything was good. And when they brought Tennille in as a babyface, like, she was horrible. And I kept saying, why isn't she not doing an influencer gimmick? Like, what the hell? Why not? Then all of a sudden she's doing a damn influencer gimmick, and she's way, way better. So, but yeah, she's, killer queef. But yeah, that's what the matches were, man. But yeah, so it looks like she's gone. I'm a little disappointed, just because I like the Influence, but once they said Madison was gone, I was like, dude, Tennille's not coming back.
Yeah.
And doesn't seem to be the case.
So here's the thing, right? I had high hopes for Madison Rain. Sorry, Madison Rain. I'm still talking about Madison Rain.
Yeah.
I had high hopes for Tennille Dashwood in Impact Wrestling, and it just never materialized. If we're being honest, Tennille Dashwood never quite lived up to what we were hoping for. At least for me, right? Like, when I saw Tennille Dashwood appear in Impact, I was hoping that she would pick up where she left off in WWE as Evil Emma. She had really, kind of stepped up her game. She was just being a badass. She had shed the silly Emma gimmick, and she had attitude, and her wrestling was, top level. And I was really looking forward to it, man. But she never got there. If we're being honest, she never got there. She seemed moderately invested. And look, I'll say this. And all of you who, you guys are in the working world, that, some people are self-motivated. Some people come to work every day and they're like, yes, I'm gonna tackle my job today. I'm gonna treat it like it's my company. Everything I do is gonna affect my quest to being the owner of this company or whatever, right? There's that person who comes in to work like that. And then there's people who are like, look, man, it's early. I don't feel like dealing with this shit. I haven't had my coffee. Maybe I did have my coffee, but I need some more coffee because I am not in the mood to deal with this shit. Okay. Like, people are affected by their surroundings. And if the environment that you work in is not, it's not like keeping people enthusiastic, right? Making them excited and happy about their work, you're not going to get the best performance out of them. So to me, Tennille Dashwood is one of those people. Do the wave. What kind of wave?
I had to leave that up. I didn't know if you.
But like, to me, Tennille Dashwood is obviously one of those people that she kind of played down to her surroundings, right? When you're used to walking out there in a WWE arena, okay, full of excited, rowdy fans, and now you got to work in Impact in front of 200 people. Listen, it could bring down your spirits a little bit. Like, I can get that. But for whatever reason, man, Madison, man, I keep talking about Madison Rain. Oh, somebody tweeted killer queef.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Well, Tennille Dashwood, she never quite materialized. I don't know what to tell you, man. Like I was expecting more, and to be honest, it just never got there. It never got there. So, at some point you gotta see things for what they are and not what you want them to be. Tennille Dashwood didn't bring much to the table. Like she is a good performer, but I just don't think she was ever like excited and enthusiastic about working in Impact Wrestling, because I don't think that she really I don't think she really did much to make the show better. You know what I'm saying? She didn't make it
Yeah.
worse, but I didn't feel like her heart was in it. You know what I mean? I never felt like her heart was in
Yeah.
making Impact a better show.
And I think I said this maybe 2 months ago, that there's too many people coming into Impact like where it's like this is just a job. Like I'm here to do a job. I'm here to work an indie show. I'm just going to be here for a little while. To where like the early days of TNA when things were like really really popping was because they were bringing in people who were like, "Yo, I'm going to use this platform and as a team we have something to prove, and we're gonna go out there and do that. So there's the Moose, the Sammy Callahan, the Josh Alexander. They're in that mold a little bit, but in the early days of bringing in people, we have something to prove. We're gonna make our names be known, and then it started going down. Obviously, the Hogan area started bringing in people where it was just a job for them. It was a paycheck. They were just there to wrestle. We're not to that extent. It's not that bad, but they're definitely bringing in some people who are like, you guys want to pay me to wrestle on your show? Cool. I'm probably not going to tweet about it or like promote it much, but cool. Whatever. You know what I mean? It's just not really, really dedicated to the mission, the overall mission. They're not like, hey, I'm going to do my part to grow this product, so.
Right.
So we're going to talk Bound for Glory here real quick. And when we did our Twitter space, that was our topic. That was the that was the topic that TW came up with. And again, if you're just tuning in, we're not reviewing the show at this stage in the week, but the main event is Eddie Edwards versus Josh Alexander, worst kept secret in the planet. I think everyone knew that was coming. What was good though is they didn't beat it down our throats. It wasn't.
Pause.
It wasn't like when we knew Tessa Blanchard was going to wrestle for the title. You know what I'm saying? Where it was just like, you just knew that for months. It's like, oh my God, get to it. They had Eddie stay away from Josh, stay away from the title, which I can appreciate. But then they ultimately gave us what, we were fairly certain they were working up to. I'm very concerned about the promos for this. Eddie's promos as a heel, much better. Don't get me wrong. I'm a little worried about them going back and forth on the microphone because, what I've been saying is after Moose, Josh's feuds were just about wrestling. It's just, we're just going to go out there and we're going to wrestle, like there was no story, like really bringing you in. And I really feel like with this one, they're going to attempt to make a story, but I don't know if it's going to be there. I'm fairly certain they're just going to have Josh wrestle members of Honor No More every week and beat them. And I think that's going to be like the build. And then Eddie's going to jump him after. I'm sure there's going to be a tag team match where it's Josh and, Johnny Rockstar and Peter Pajama Pants. I don't know, whoever they put him with, and against Honor No More or something. Right. I just hate when with main events, they keep getting their hands on each other. I feel that's going to happen with this. The main event's been announced way too early. That maybe it hasn't been too early, but I just don't feel like the first time we're going to really see them wrestle is at Bound for Glory. Like I feel like we're going to, in one way, shape, or this form, watch this match like 10 times before it happens, like they did with Eric Young and Josh.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. Josh Alexander versus Eddie Edwards, I'm confident it's going to be a good match. But I'd be lying if I said I'm really like interested in it. I think, that's the tough thing that's the problem that Impact has, is like, you don't want to keep leaning on guys outside of Impact. And here in Eddie Edwards and Honor No More, we got a story that's been building for months, you know?
Mhm.
So, like you're investing in your own people, but I don't know. They got to do something to get me more excited for this show. That's
I
all I
think
can say.
this is the first Bound for Glory main event that I can think of, and I've been trying to run them over in my head, that doesn't feature a former WWE person in the main event.
Wow.
It,
Good point.
if you just, I would challenge someone to find one for me, and I'm curious how far back that is. To a certain extent, you can't go back to the very first Bound for Glory before they were signing people from WWE. You know what I'm saying? But there was a certain point, I'm going to say, after the Hogan era to now. I don't know that there's a Bound for Glory main event that doesn't have some former WWE person in it. They have never been like, we're just going to have our guys go at it.
So, okay. How important is that, though? How important is that? Because I think that, like, it's tough to be like, oh, we can't put a guy in a feature spot because he was in WWE at some point. Like, everybody wants to wrestle in WWE. Like, you all want to wrestle at the pinnacle of the industry, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, should we just disqualify if a guy is good? Should he be disqualified from wrestling in the main event of a big Impact show because he was in WWE at some point?
Yeah, I get that. I'm just saying, for what you're saying is your WrestleMania, which it's not, but what you're saying is your bigger your big show. There's just been no, like, our guys are headlining this thing.
Yeah,
it just hasn't
which is honestly, I think it's it says more about how the job they've done getting people excited about the guys who wrestle in Impact more than anything else.
Right.
Like yes, it does. It does help to get the the credibility of somebody who was on WWE, which is the biggest platform in the professional wrestling industry. But like, ultimately, you should be using those guys' credibility from being on that platform to build up your own guys. You know what I mean? To make your Impact guys hotter. So, again, the Impact strategy, I'll say it again, like, I'm not saying that Impact gets help from the outside world, but Impact is its own worst enemy in a lot of ways.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see what this build is like. I have a bad feeling about it. I think the story is a great story. As far as Eddie not getting that chance to bring the Impact title home, I think it's a great story. I don't know how they handle that from here to Bound for Glory, though. And I'm sure they're going to have. We haven't seen Alicia on TV forever, since she teased tag teaming with Lady Frost,
Yeah,
who was gone from the company. We haven't seen her on TV forever. Ever. She's probably going to show up, go back to the Eddie's wife thing. I'm on TV because I'm Eddie's wife.
right.
Instead of carving her own path, which they won't do with her. It's just, when we need you to be the yelling wife, we're going to bring you on. And I bet my third nipple that is what they're going to do. I don't have three nipples. I bet that's what I bet that's what they're going to do. So we shall see. Some people have been talking about. I'm running this show today. Usually TW's got this, but I've been coming up with these topics all week, so I was like, I got this time. A lot of people have been talking in this chat so far about Jeff Jarrett. Was he fired from WWE, or did he leave on his own?
I'm sure you'll get differing stories based on who you talk to. I've heard both. I've seen it. I've seen that, Jeff Jarrett stepped away from his position. I've seen that he was let go. So, who it's one of those depends on who you talk to thing, but he was probably let go. Let's be honest. He's like, it's
Right.
one of those things like, you can't fire me, I quit. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
if I had to guess, it's probably more like that.
Yeah, man, because I know he was like vice president of live events or something like
Yeah.
that. That just seems like a position they would cut. But someone's saying here he left on his own. There's just been differing
Yeah.
stories here. So people have been saying that, hey, he should come back. And I kind of counter it, but it depends. Was he let go or did he leave on his own accord? And what was the reason for that?
Well,
Um,
I would say this. I think Jeff Jarrett, if I'm Impact, I'd grab Jeff Jarrett right away. And I'll tell you why. Because, you know this, one of the things Jeff Jarrett was absolutely great about, has always been really good about, is creating buzz. So I would put Jeff Jarrett in charge of, I'm not sure exactly what you would call that position, but in terms of like creating like the marketing strategy, that's his bag. Jeff Jarrett can talk up some interest in stuff. You know what I mean? Jeff Jarrett can get you appearances places. He can get some tweets circulating. Like, listen, man, I'd hire Jeff Jarrett because I think it's one of those things where if he's in an environment where he's not the boss and you just let him do what he's good at, then you benefit, you know what I mean, from what he does well, and you're not like beholden to it. So you get him, you let him do his thing, you hire someone to work under him. So when you have to fire him, because history suggests that you're probably going to have to fire him, you have somebody who knows how to do what he can do. Okay. Like that's how you do it. That's how you do it. Like this is not rocket science, but I would absolutely hire Jeff Jarrett because he's good at marketing and promotions, and that's Impact's biggest number one problem right now, in my opinion.
And this is something else we've mentioned in the past. Him on YouTube, the YouTube channel when he was around, had a bunch of original content, and fans were enjoying it, and it was easy to consume content. It wasn't like too terribly long. It was, like they would have some kind of like question, like what's your favorite movie, and they, ask a bunch of the stars, and they would answer, and stuff like that is just, it gave people content when there was no content, because I feel like right now we're back in that period when the show isn't on Thursdays. It's like, all right, I guess we're waiting to Thursday for something to get excited about, and like Tony Khan gets people talking all week. WWE's always got people talking all week. Granted, way bigger platforms, but they're very strategic in how they drop their news,
right?
When they drop it, and we just don't really get that with it. Every blue moon, they'll do it, but we're really falling back into that, like Thursday is just Impact Day, and the rest of the week is whatever. They've already given up on the digital match of the week or whatever the hell they call it. I mean, when I say given up, it used to be like exclusive matches for like 5 weeks, and then it was just like, okay, we're not going to do this anymore. What indie match can we, with horrible quality and 10 people in the crowd, can we pull and present it as an Impact match? So that idea tanked rather than just kind of being an exclusive match, which I think would have worked. So I'd be all for it. I've liked a lot of his ideas, and he would do a lot of radio interviews, and I mean, really get out there and promote the thing. So I don't know, but when he left last time, the company was by far the worst it's been, and like when it transitioned from Impact to Global Force and then had to go back to Impact, that was the worst time since we've been. Well, I guess I've been doing this longer than you as far as the lounge, because I started it, obviously. Since I've been covering, that was the worst period.
Yeah.
And I mean, they had that Bound for Glory. The one right after Jeff left was horrible. Oh my God.
Which one was that? Was that
The
the
one that like
Global Force merges with Impact Bound for Glory?
No, it was I'm talking about, it was like Alberto El Patron came and like ruined the main event. That was like Eli Drake and John Morrison.
Oh yeah. They
They
went through some
had
rough times, man. And you know what? Honestly, I think it's actually good for us all to remember those times, man. Whenever you feel down on the current Impact product, just remember it's been worse. Okay. It can be worse, and it has been worse. Okay. So just remember that. Just remember that. It could always be worse.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think it would be cool. I hope that they do it. I feel like someone sent me an article today that I didn't have time to read. I bet if I went to my inbox, I thought there was something where he said he's, talking to some companies right now. So we'll see. Maybe there's more that we can bring up on this. I don't really know. And I always say about Karen Jarrett that I maintain it to this day. One of the prettiest women I've seen in real life in comparison to the show. You know, like I met Christy Hemme before. Like she's just as like gorgeous in person as she is on screen. And like the screen does not do Karen Jarrett justice. I was like very shocked. I even had to tell her that. Jeff was standing right there, but I didn't give a shit.
Does her voice sound like death in real
No,
life
because she
the
just
way it does on TV? Because on
no,
TV, Karen Jarrett's voice is the worst thing that has ever hit my ears. Ever. Listening to Karen Jarrett, I would rather listen to Vanilla Ice's catalog of albums back to back to back on a loop than listen to Karen Jarrett talk. Her
Forever.
voice is the worst. That shit is awful, dog. Awful. Nails on a chalkboard, got nothing on Karen Jarrett. Like her voice is the worst thing in the history of wrestling. It's bad.
Yeah, but when you're just talking to her and she's 5 feet away from you and she's just talking, like this, it was much different. So much better. She was actually really cool. Jeff was the one that was just kind of like just there, just going through the motions. Before I get to my next
was it this
my next
motion?
topic here. Yeah. It might have been. He actually wrestled the Pope that night, and it was one of the worst matches I've ever seen.
Man, I thought the Pope was one of the biggest misses in TNA history. Like, I mean, and don't get me wrong, who knows whose fault that is, but I thought they had a chance to do something special with that guy. I thought he was one of those people that was a good talent, and you just have to, again, like, just do something fun with him. Do something fun with him. The guy's very charismatic. You know what I mean? Very charismatic, good in the ring. Why not? Why not?
I told him Impact's commentary hasn't been the same since you left, and he's like, I've had a few people tell me that.
Daddy, the Pope does a lot of things well, and all of them I do great.
We got a couple questions here. The first one, I already took it down. I'll bring it back up in a sec, but just asking about the Jessica thing, because obviously we're not going to talk about the show here. Are you still? I feel like we're kind of on board with what I said. There's some people who don't seem to like it, and for some reason I do, because I see a genuineness in her that she's like having a lot of fun doing it, and Decay wasn't beating nobody, dude.
Yeah.
The Jessica's gimmick doesn't bother me, but Rosemary involvement in this thing is what bothers me. Like she's becoming a comedy character.
Right.
And sometimes it's lighting, you know what I mean? Like when Decay first came out, they're in the dark all the time, and now they're, she's in front of the pink lights just like everybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So she's one to me that she's hurting from this more than anybody, in my opinion.
So I don't have a problem with wrestlers doing comedy, but wrestlers need to be threatening. Like that to me, that's a baseline for taking a wrestler seriously. That a wrestler needs to be threatening. Like that's just the best way I can say it. And Rosemary is to the point where there's nothing threatening about Rosemary. And Jessica, there's nothing threatening about her. Like what I would like to see with Jessica is do your comedy shtick, But when it's time to get in the ring, you're destroying people. You're still havoc when you get in the ring. Like that's what I'd like to see. Like play up the Jessica stuff because now she's like a buffoon. You know what I mean? She's all ditzy and all of that. And again, she's harmless. Like you can't be harmless. Wrestlers should not be harmless. We're turning on these TV shows to watch you beat people up. You should not be harmless. You should be harmful. Okay?
Right.
like I want to see wrestlers be threatening and menacing. That's what I want. That's like a baseline for what I want from my wrestlers. Like even, Taya, right? When Taya would do like the housewife shtick or whatever, like she would still get in the ring and be an ass kicker. You know what I'm saying? She would still get in the ring and be an ass kicker. Like, she have the cool outfits with Bravo and all of that stuff. And I'm glamour girl and all of this stuff. But when she got in the ring, she was busting ass. You know what I mean? Like, and that's, to me, I think that's the thing that wrestlers can't forget. If you want to do your comedy character, like fine, do comedy. But when you get in the ring, the person watching needs to feel like you are going to kick somebody's ass in a way that is entertaining to them. Period. Because that's why we watch wrestling. That sorry to tear away all the layers of bull crap that people tell each other nowadays about, oh, you don't have to suspend your disbelief and all that. But like at the end of the day, we watch wrestling because we like to watch people fight. Okay? People like wrestling because you like to watch a fight. If you're at the park and people are playing basketball and a fight breaks out across the street, what's everybody going to be looking at? The basketball game or the fight?
Right.
Everybody's going to be looking at the fight.
Yeah.
People want to watch a fight. So at the basis of all wrestling characters needs to be an ass kicker. Period.
Yeah, exactly. And that is missing from them. The dynamic between the two of them has not been the same. And I think, I don't know, the backstage segments just in general, I've been talking about that forever. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. The production quality and the lighting and the shadows and the lights and the color correction, and it's so cheap looking backstage that that group is not being done any favors by it. But
Okay,
creatively, the Jessica
BQ, I'm gonna step in here right now, okay, and we are gonna have a little segment called BQ says something nice about Impact, because BQ, the people out there like to hate on you. They feel like your criticism is too critical, BQ. They don't know how to separate the good stuff. So BQ, this is the part of where you are going to go out of your way to say something nice so that everybody who thinks that you are too critical, who thinks that I am too critical, they can shut the hell up, because it's time for BQ to say something nice about Impact. Hit it, BQ.
I know people like to treat me like I'm like this huge hater, but everything I say comes from a place of love, because I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't coming from a place of love. I'm just real. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I had a job interview. I shouldn't say it's a job interview. Since I'm moving to Nevada next year, I had to change my Air Force unit out there, my reserve unit. But this particular unit, because of the mission there, it's like a top secret mission. They had to interview me. I couldn't just say, hey, I'm gonna transfer. Because in the reserves, as long as your base releases you, you can go live wherever you want. It's not like active duty. And the position they're hiring me for, like, I was just like, yo, it's in my my realm of my job duties, but it's not something that I do. Someone else in our office does it. So I went in there. I was like, yo, I don't know how to do this job, Like, I was honest to a fault. And they still selected me, you know what I mean? So because of everything I said around that, they didn't focus on just that negative part where I was like, I haven't done this job. I don't know how to do it. But there was a lot of stuff I put around that, how I can get to that point, what kind of worker I am, what I need from them so that I can succeed in this position. So there was stuff I put around it that they focused on all that, and they're like, okay, we want this dude. So I say a lot of things on this channel where I'm like, yo, this, I say this looks cheap, this sounds cheap, you know what I mean? But I also feel like I'm speaking, I really think that's the center of what I'm saying. But around it, I'm talking about, but they could do this, they could do this, because that's one thing I learned in the military. Don't complain unless you have a solution also. And I usually try to have some kind of solution, or I would like to see them do this instead, and that's the part that people seem to overlook when they hear my criticism of the product. But I'm still going to tell you, like, yo, the knockouts of it. Yo, I was looking at the roster the other day, the knockouts. I was like, yo, man, this shit is like, I was saying 6 months ago, this roster is off the chain. And now I'm like, yo, man, they've got so many people who could be the knockouts champion. It's not like it was a one, even though the division was kind of good for a while, it was like a 1-2 woman division. It always seemed to be. And now it's just like, yo, they got like 5-6 girls who could be the champion right now. 5-6 girls who could put on like really, really good matches. So I'm always gonna praise what the knockouts do. I'm always talking about they have the most logical wrestling show. As far as like the wrestling, we always say, or you always say with AEW, they act like, I forgot what you said, like not everyone's in on the joke but them, or
right.
I don't know where you're
right.
But basically what you're saying is they'll like present these storylines that they just think you're supposed to know, and so much stuff doesn't make sense. Impact is a very logical wrestling program in my opinion. I think I don't look at it. There's not a lot they do creatively. I might criticize like if it's done well or not, but they make sense. There's not a lot that it's just like, what the hell are they talking about? What are they doing? And then the wrestling does, man, the wrestling is the easiest wrestling for me to watch, because there's not 50 near falls. There's not, it doesn't take a finisher off the top rope to finally beat somebody. There's not there's not a run in every single match, or like AEW, every time the heel loses, they attack the babyface after the match every single time. We don't got that kind of stuff. So there's so much they do well, but I'm just, for me, there's certain areas where you increase the quality of how it looks and sounds. I really just think that would be, I don't know, such like a game changer for them.
Yes.
We Own the Night, man. There's nothing I'll ever say good about that song. I actually won't ever. I've committed myself. I will not go to an Impact taping, because they've been taping fairly close to me lately. I've driven further, and people are like, "Oh, are you going to go?" I'm like, dude, until they get rid of that song, I'm not going, because I know that they play it 50 times throughout the night. Like, we see a match on TV, and then between the next match, they play We Own the Night, and then they have another match, and then they play We Own the Night, and it's like that the entire free. And I was like, I cannot do that. I can't handle that. I might go to like a monthly special Impact Plus show, pay-per-view, something like that, but you're not going to catch me. There's no way you're going to catch me at a TV. So, or TV
just because you don't want to hear We Own the Night.
Yes,
so when you hear We Own the Night, you're going to be like,
this guy. Yeah, I absolutely cannot. Someone said Kelly's out doing Rosemary with the entrance. Killer Kelly's entrance is awesome, but that's another thing, man. We're not reviewing this show, obviously, but when I was watching her entrance, I was like, yo, if everything wasn't freaking red all the time, this shit would look phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's why I always that's why you have to color contrast. There's various reasons for that. But because they're so like so dependent on that color, when she comes out, it's just like I don't know. That's just what I was saying. It's like, yo, this would be so much more badass if she was the only red part of the show.
No, you're right.
Yeah. So I'm gonna bring so someone asked what network we would want to see him on. We talked about that a little bit earlier. And Eurosport re-signing Impact in India. Interesting. Warner Brothers Discovery owns the same situation. Yeah, I know they renewed the deal with India, which was a must for them. The last thing I want to talk about is contract situation. Some people leaving. Triple
Can you
H
hear
is
me?
back.
Am I back? My audio
Yes.
messed up.
Okay, yeah, I hear you.
Ah.
So, Triple H is back. He's bringing back his people. You know, you always talk about where's our guys. Like Triple H is like, where's my guys? They're not here anymore. So he's been bringing people back. And now Deonna Purrazzo is a free agent, and Chelsea Green has always been a free agent. Chelsea Green will go to, with the Knockouts title, even as Knockouts Tag Team Champion, she will go to WWE tomorrow. If they call her, and like, if you listen to her interviews, man, her podcast, she wants to go back there. Even when she was with Impact the first time, all she did was talk about Tough Enough in WWE the entire podcast. You know, like there was never, you know, she enjoys doing the Impact stuff, NWA, Ring of Honor, all that stuff, clearly. But she will go back to WWE tomorrow. So I got to ask you this. You can talk about Deonna specifically if you want, or whatever. But I've been wanting to ask you, what do you think Triple H's effect is going to be on the wrestling industry right now? Because he's coming in, he's breathing a breath of a new life over there. It's a breath of fresh air for a lot of people. He's convinced people to come back. He's brought people back who were fired. No hard feelings. Hey, they're coming back. And you know the product better than me. And I'm thinking I only feel like it's going to affect, like, if people are going to leave AEW now to come to WWE. It's going to happen. Before, that wasn't going to be the case, especially when NXT was just hiring, you know, just whoever, not wrestlers, you know what I mean? But gymnasts and freaking pole vaulters or whatever the hell, pole dancers. So how do you think he's going to affect the wrestling industry as a whole right now? And then specifically Impact too, because right now Impact is having a hard time signing people. We want them to sign long-term. They're not signing long-term. Johnny Gargano, you know, he showed up again. I was reading something where it said he never gave any serious interest in Impact, or no serious consideration. So they obviously talked to him, but he was not interested at all. Yeah, at one point Miro was like, I just don't. They were very nice, but I wasn't going to go there. So are we going to see? Is it going to be hurtful to Impact to where now more people are like, "Yo, there's now opportunity"? Because there was a time where it's not good to be a free agent. All of a sudden, it's like, "Yo, maybe I can be a free agent again," because now they might take me in NXT, or someone like VXT who, we didn't get this gimmick off the ground. Triple H might see it get off the ground and Impact. Now the free agents, could they head back? You know, like, I know I've been real long-winded here, and I don't even know if I asked a clear question or not, but just what do you think his overall effect is going to be on the wrestling industry, that wrestling scene, you know, specifically Impact and all that?
Okay, so I got to admit, can you hear me okay? Thumbs up?
Yeah, I hear it. It's weird, though.
Okay, because it's weird. My mic just, I don't know what happened. I had some audio issue. My mic unplugged and it got weird for a second. I'm not really sure. I'm going to try to get my mic back popping. I think it's tough to get my mic situation switched around while we're in the middle of a broadcast. But I'm going to try
now anyway. And
there we go.
This helps.
Yeah.
Tell me if this changes. Did this change at all? Can you hear me? Still good?
Yeah. Sound great.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Am I coming through more clear now?
Yeah.
All right. Sweet. Okay. So the question was, what effect is the Triple H change going to have? Is that what's the question?
Yeah. I know I didn't ask that very clearly.
No, it wasn't you. I lost all my audio. I couldn't hear, or you couldn't hear me. It was something went weird. But when it came back, I heard you talking about Johnny Gargano and people potentially not want to be free agents.
No, I said there was a period there where it wasn't good to be a free agent because AEW, already signed so many people. NXT wasn't signing people, and now all of a sudden spots are opening up in Ring of Honor and everything. So and now the WWE landscape is changing. So I feel like we can see more free agents within Impact or other companies. But I'm saying, what I was really asking you was, what do you think Triple H's impact is going to be on the wrestling scene right now? Because he's bringing some people back that he got fired, or people that left out of frustration. He's bringing them back. Could a team like VXT, because I was saying Chelsea Green would go to back there tomorrow. All they got to do is call her. It doesn't matter. She's a champion. She did it once before.
Are we gonna have an honest conversation about Chelsea Green at one point?
No.
Whenever you guys are ready, we can have an honest conversation about Chelsea Green. Keep going.
Yeah, maybe one of these days. But yeah, just what do you think its effect will be on the wrestling scene, free agency, and impact? Like, now that things have changed at WWE, what's his overall?
I mean, his effect is going to be huge. It's going to be huge because, look, man, like, and some of it's going to be good, some of it's going to be bad. Like, the good that we've seen is that WWE storytelling is going to be more coherent, right? They're going to pay more attention to the little things that, Vince McMahon just didn't care and didn't think people cared. Triple H is much more in tune to today's wrestling fan and what they want. Okay. The downside is that part of that, of what they want, is this indie style wrestling. So I'm a little weary of the influx of the let's just say indie looking wrestlers into the WWE main roster, and what effect that's going to have on the week to week product. I'm not as bullish on the Johnny Garganos of the world as some people are. So I'll just kind of leave it at that. But yeah, WWE, as they have always had their pick of free agents, they will continue to have their pick of free agents, because now it's going to be a much more friendly place to people who don't look like top tier athletes. And so they'll continue to have their pick of the litter. And at the same time, though, AEW will be the place, the second place. AEW will be the place where you'll go if you can't get into WWE and you still want to wrestle in front of a big crowd. And Impact will get the people who have nowhere else to go. Like that's the honest truth. Impact will get the people who have nowhere else to go. I mean, not nowhere else to go, because there's but Impact is at best people's third choice. You know what I mean? Like, at best.
Yeah. When you heard me say something about Gargano, I read that he gave Impact no serious consideration.
Right.
And then I brought up Miro, who once upon a time said, "Oh, they were very nice to me. They made me an offer, but I had no interest in going there."
Yeah.
So, it is going to be,
because why would you want to? Honestly, the only benefit to wrestling at a place like Impact is to try to get a contract offer from an AEW or WWE. Period. Either that, or you're in a position like the Good Brothers, where you've already made plenty of money. You just need to keep some money coming in while you get your next move ready. Like, Impact is a place for people who are looking for their next move. Honestly.
Right.
That's what it is. And why is Impact like that? That's an Impact thing. You know what I mean? Like, that's on them to make their place somewhere that people want to wrestle long term. But right now, it's not that. Impact is a stopgap. It's a stepping stone. It is what it is.
Yeah, it is. And I've been bringing up NWA a few times where, man, you can watch that show week to week, and there's someone who shows up on this show when you're like, who the fuck is this, man? I mean, they bring in so many, I'm going to call them nobodies. And I know that's that's kind of a derogatory term, because everyone's got to start somewhere. But I mean, they're bringing in people, dude, that you just look at them and you're like, this person will never get past this level of wrestling. And I would hate for, I couldn't hear what you were playing.
Oh, man.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
Yeah, I just don't think I don't want them to get to that point where it's like they're just, I mean, absolute bottom of the barrel, the guys they bring in.
Yeah.
Where you're watching them and you're just like, they're here because there's no other options.
Right. Exactly.
That's where like a lot of the NWA there's like half the NWA roster is awesome, and I really like the women's division. There's a couple women there that you look at, like the tag team champions right now, that you're just like, dude, they would not get in on any other show.
Right.
But they have a lot of really good wrestlers, but then there's some, dude, where you're just like, what are they doing on my screen? And I feel like there's a chance Impact is going to get to that point. God knows I don't want them to. I think they've created a lot of loyalty within some people to where, but say the time Moose decides to move on, or Sami Callihan's like, you know what, I've been here a long time. Maybe AW wants him. There's going to be a time where some of these people move on, the loyal wrestlers, and it's going to be like, what do we have here?
Right.
And it's, what'd you say, at best, like a third option or something like that?
Yeah, at best.
Yeah. It's just going to be it is going to be an absolute stepping stone promotion. In that case, if they get there, they got to embrace it. They just got to be like, we're MLW now, dude. Like they just have to find a way to embrace it. And Malcolm Lloyd says, do you think Impact Wrestling should steer away from going after former WWE stars and AAA which are running the ship? I think this is the time where they need to find new. This is the last opportunity to really like find those Masha Slamoviches and the Killer Kellys and things like that. But in the men's division, this is their time to like really see what's out there on the indie scene. Can we make this person a star? Can this person possibly be a star one day? Because once, if Triple H just continues to do what he's doing, and then Ring of Honor gets off the ground, which is going to be above Impact, I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that. It just depends what the vision is for it, if it's going to be a TV show. But I mean, the pay-per-view already did better, than what Impact does. But it's under the AEW umbrella, so of course it's going to.
I don't see the AEW Ring of Honor having a long shelf life, though. Honestly, like it's rinsing and repeating the same stuff. Like wrestling fans love nostalgia, right? Like this would be like if Impact had a separate show called TNA. You know what I mean? It's just like the same fans, same product over and over again, just different belts, different ring set. Like, I don't know. But, though, I'm not the audience for it, because this is a Ring of Honor nostalgia pop, and there's a lot of people who are here for the Ring of Honor nostalgia pop. But the thing is that the people who wrestled in Ring of Honor, right, like we're getting farther and farther away from them being able to be like performers. So who's going to fill those spaces? You know what I mean? Like, who's the up and coming Ring of Honor talent? What are we talking about here? You know what I mean?
Right,
what are we talking about here? But as far as Impact goes, right? Like, I wouldn't shy away from signing ex-WWE talent if I'm Impact, because that brings eyeballs to your product. But what you do is you sign those ex-WWE talents, and then you make sure that they're putting over Chris Bay and Ace Austin and Trey Miguel. You know what I mean? Your Impact guys need to be the ones going over. Okay? Like, just like back in the day when Impact signed Kurt Angle, like, yeah, that was great, man. But Kurt Angle should have been doing jobs for Samoa Joe, because it should have been established that Samoa Joe and AJ Styles, these are the guys here. That's how you make your brand your brand. You know what I mean? Like, again, in AEW, all the first guys to get that title were AEW guys. Okay. Like, so, that's the thing that Impact needs to do. And you can still do that. You can still establish that this is the Impact guys show. Like, bring in the ex-WWE guys. But Josh Alexander, Chris Bay, Ace Austin, they need to be smoking them motherfuckers, okay? Like, bring them in. But the Impact guys need to be going over. They need to be, you need to be making those guys look like a big deal because they're an Impact. Like, you got to have some loyalty to them to try to create some loyalty from the fan base so that they feel like a big deal, because fans don't feel like these guys are big deals. Okay. Newsflash, right? Like, if you make Ace Austin feel special, you bring in some ex-WWE guys, some AEW guys, and make sure they do jobs. Like, protect them the way Tony Khan protects anybody who comes onto your show. Okay. and make them feel like a big deal to your audience. You know how much Impact fans will pop if when they see Ace Austin and Chris Bay, they know that those guys are out there beating AEW guys? But why would we feel like those guys are special? We don't feel like those guys are special. We feel like those guys are big deals within Impact if Impact decides to push them.
Mm-hmm.
Feel me?
Yeah,
That's what Impact needs to do. Like, you got the guys here, make a big deal out of the guys who are already here. I say this over and over and over again. Make a big deal out of the guys who are here.
Yeah, and make the people feel wanted for being there. I mean, how many athletes are like, they just randomly leave, request a trade or want a team, like, or want to leave because this team didn't value me, like, I feel like I can bring this and I didn't get that, and I feel like some of the people, the Rohits, the Jake somethings, and I think those are guys who didn't feel valued. They were kind of talked about like, oh, these are some of the upcoming stars, but I mean, they didn't get that kind of treatment. And clearly at negotiating time, they didn't get that kind of respect. So
right. Exactly. That's Impact's biggest problem. When it's time to pay guys, they're not paying nobody.
Right. And that's just how it is. At some point, you got to reward someone for their loyalty. And I think they're just like, we don't know for sure, but I mean, it just seems like they're like, this is just our budget. This is how we're going to operate. And, I'm a big daily fantasy sports player, and, the way you win contests is when you find that cheap player who performs like a superstar that night. You get 40 points out of someone who's the minimum price. And
woo,
I think Impact is looking for, hey, we're going to bring you in for some of these people in for their booking fee.
Woo.
But they're going to become stars. And if we can get them at that level, now the overall value of the roster is high. But then when that contract runs up, and it's like, just like what they say in the NFL, like the best situation you're going to be in is have a star rookie quarterback. Because of their salary, because you can build everything else around him, even though he's better than all those players.
Impact is trying to get these guys while they're cheap, okay? And they're trying to get the most out of them. And then so when they go blow up in WWE, they can say they were here at some point.
Yeah.
But that's the problem with Impact, man, is you don't make these guys feel like a big deal while they're here. Don't get me started. Don't get me on my soapbox, okay?
Right.
Impact. Do better. Do better by the people who we got to watch each and every week. That's all I'm saying, okay? That's
right. So,
whew.
I think we're gonna wrap it up. I know there's a question here about Daniel Garcia. So I know it's an Impact show. He's cool. I like him actually quite a bit.
So, he gets a lot of love on AEW. I don't know. He's there.
Yeah. Someone dropped the spoiler you wanted me to avoid.
Oh,
someone dropped it in the comments here, just so you know. So
people are rude.
But I think that's gonna do it for us tonight. I know it's an hour later for you than it is for me. I got to get my 9-year-old to bed because he doesn't sleep. He's in fourth grade now. Ever since he's been in kindergarten, I can count on 2 hands how many times he's gone to bed before me.
Nice.
So, I've never seen it. I mean, at some point I have to tap out,
Yeah, hell yeah.
I'm gonna make the attempt here before I go to bed. So,
so thank you guys all for tuning in. One more time before we go, let me just say, join us on Twitter in the Twitter Spaces. We're going live tomorrow after Impact, around 10:05 p.m. Eastern. Okay, after Impact goes off the air, dive in and let's chat. Okay, this is y'all doing the podcast, y'all listen to us talk. Come to the Twitter Spaces so we can hear you talk. Okay, this is our chance to vibe and talk and chat about Impact Wrestling. BQ, anything you want to say to the people before we sign off?
No, just thanks for tuning in as always. Join us for that Twitter space tomorrow. We had a lot of fun doing that. It's going to be an hour. We're going to cut it. And, it gives some extra content when we're not always allowed around to give it to you guys here on the channel. So just check us out.
Make sure to follow us at BQ Speaks, at TW Talking About on Twitter. We love you guys. We thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like I said, holler at us on the Twitter. Tweet me, I tweet back. Tweet BQ, he tweets back. If you really want to help out the show, the best thing you can do is tell a friend to tell a friend. Let's bring in more people to the conversation. For BQ, I'm TW. Peace.